Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hit the Apex. I'm Charlie, and today we have a live watch along. It's the second live watch along of the season, and it is round 5 here in Miami for the 2022 Miami Grand Prix at the Autodrome. Autodrome, Miami International Autodrome for the Miami Grand Prix. We'll go through the starting grid in a moment, but first make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Make sure to get your thoughts in of this race. It's the first time since Mexico 2019 that both Ferrari cars have been on the front row. Try and sort the mic out in a second. It's sounding very echoey at the moment. Big up Chelsea fan in the chat. Hope you're well, mate. We just need to get audio, get the phone. Can you still hear me? Let's see if that's better on the mic. Yeah. It's very similar, so we'll just go back onto the default. Yeah. So, the formation lap is about to get underway here in Miami at the Miami International Autodrome for the Miami Grand Prix. Both Aston Martin cars are starting in the pit lane. So the starting grid then, it is Leclerc on pole with Sainz P2, Verstappen, Perez, Bottas, Hamilton, Gasly, Norris, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, who starts from the pit lane, Alonso, Russell, Vettel, Ricciardo, Schumacher, Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou, Albon, Latifi, and Esteban Ocon. Here we go then. So Leclerc is into the final sector as he begins to try and back the pack up before that long straight. As the drivers are starting to get onto the grid. So Leclerc's back on the grid, doing everything he can to back up the field. Creeping towards that P1 grid slot as he slows to a stop as everyone else does likewise. Moments away now. As the 5 red lights are about to get underway. It's lights out and away we go here in Miami. It's a good start for Charles Leclerc as well as Carlos Sainz, who remains in P2. Max Verstappen is side by side and gets ahead of Carlos Sainz. So it's Leclerc, Verstappen, and then Carlos Sainz. A great start for Verstappen, and the Alpine of Fernando Alonso is past Hamilton as well. Of this 57 lap race. So in lap 1 of 57, it's a great start for Charles Leclerc. He remains in the lead. It's not a long run down to the first corner, and Leclerc makes it there first, but Verstappen forces his way past Sainz for second. Hamilton has dropped to P8 as he gets pushed wide, and Alonso is up to 7th. So it's Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Bottas, Gasly, Alonso, Hamilton, Norris, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Schumacher, Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou, Russell, Albon, Latifi, Ocon, Stroll, and Vettel. Ricciardo up to P11. And Esteban Ocon is past Nicholas Latifi. Alonso has gained 4 positions, Ricciardo has gained 3, and so has Mick Schumacher. Stroll and Vettel were able to start, but they have work to do to catch up to the pack. Russell has dropped to P15, but he didn't start on the hard compound tyres, and this one may well come back to him. So everyone has started on the medium tyres. Russell on the hards. Ocon, Latifi, Stroll and Vettel are all on the hards as well. The Haas drivers have done well. Schumacher's 11th as he squabbles with Ricciardo and Magnussen is in 13th. Charles Leclerc has the fastest lap of 1:34.3. And here we have Sebastian Vettel on the team radio. I'm just checking that is working. I'm just checking this is working. One moment. So Sebastian Vettel on the team radio said this.
So Sebastian, it's about going long on this tyre. So introduction, these first few laps, introduce the tyre nicely.
So I'm just checking if that's worked, to be honest. Yeah, it has. So Leclerc leads by 9/10, not quite out of DRS range, and DRS has just been enabled. He gets a hurry up as a result and manages to pull a few tenths out on Verstappen. And so Hamilton has just used DRS to get past Alonso. That W13 is looking racy in his hands at the moment. That's P7 for Hamilton now as he tries to recover from a poor start. And there is an image of Hamilton getting past Fernando Alonso. Sebastian Vettel here on the radio again.
Losing power. Can you see that?
Copy, stand by. Okay, it's just the learning, Sebastian. It's going to be okay.
So Sebastian Vettel was losing power, according to him. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel. So Vettel has just reported on the radio that he's losing power. He's running last as it stands, with both Aston Martin cars still some way off catching Latifi and Ocon. Hamilton is within DRS range of Gasly in the fight for sixth. Replays of the start showed that Verstappen got a great start and was later on the brakes than Sainz, side by side through the first corner and then on the inside line for the second. How did Hamilton lose some places? He locked up into turn one, then got a small tap from Alonso wheel to wheel, so both have been able to continue.
Losing power.
We've listened to that already, and Hamilton has said on the radio, definitely feels like I've got some damage left rear. So all the hard tyre runners are at the back of the field, led by George Russell in 15th. Guan Yu Zhou is in the pits. 7 people watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Side by side for Schumacher and Tsunoda, and the Haas gets past. So does his teammate. As Tsunoda drops from P10 down to 12th in the matter of a few moments. Here's Nicholas Latifi on the radio.
Just surface overheating. Have a lot of oversteer to the right hand corners or understeer on the left.
So I think Lewis had enough of our rear from Imola. He takes P6 from Pierre. That's what Alfa Tauri have. The Alfa Tauri admin on smoke. Problems for Joe. He's pulled up into the pits and looks to be retiring the car. So 8 tenths between Leclerc and Verstappen at the moment. Alfa Romeo have tweeted, unfortunately, the team has to retire Guan Yu Zhou's car due to a technical issue. A sad end to the race for Zhou, who was making progress towards the points. Verstappen gaining on Leclerc. Side by side. Verstappen is past Leclerc. Leclerc looking for the switchback, and Verstappen is into the lead of the race. So Verstappen into the lead of the race. Verstappen overtakes Leclerc. He's within DRS range. Verstappen pulls out and sweeps past the Ferrari down the start-finish straight. Late on the brakes into the first corner. He just about gets the move done. Brilliant racing there. And the Red Bull is in the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Verstappen is pulling away on Leclerc. Right then, game on. Can Leclerc come back at him? These cars are designed just for this. I was reading that. These cars are designed just for this. And now Leclerc has DRS, but the Ferrari isn't as quick in a straight line. It's carrying its advantage through the corners. Nothing going this time round. Here's Ricciardo on the radio.
Daniel, do you think we can do plan A target lap?
At the moment, yes.
Understood.
So as it stands, Daniel Ricciardo sticking to plan A. So Verstappen leads from Leclerc, but with this likely being a two-stop race, there is still plenty to come from this one. Sainz is third, 3 seconds back, and then comes Perez. Those two can't stick with their teammates at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo with a good pass on Yuki Tsunoda. Here is Verstappen on the radio.
Only just on DRS this time. It's 0.97. He only just got it.
Yeah.
So Verstappen pulling away at the moment. So as it stands, lap 11 of the race, Verstappen started in P3. He is up to P1 with Leclerc second and Sainz in third. Sergio Perez in fourth, followed by Bottas, Hamilton, Gasly, Alonso, Norris. Magnussen passes Schumacher, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Russell, Albon, Ocon, Latifi, Stroll, and Vettel with Guan Yu Zhou is out of the race. Leclerc has dropped out of DRS range now in the battle for the lead. Ricciardo was picked off Tsunoda for P12, and incidentally, as he sets about chasing down the Haas boys ahead, the next move to keep an eye on will be Alonso, who has DRS on Gasly in the fight for 7th. Sainz has just been told that his first stint is being extended as well. We'll add that back in a second. Magnussen has picked off his teammate. Those two careful to keep things clean. Tsunoda has been going backwards of late, and he has had enough of these tyres, pitting for some hard rubber. Tsunoda is now down in last place. Here we have Alex Albon on the radio.
If we can't get past imminently, then we just need to regroup on PU temps, rear tyres, and then go again. Okay, let's get the pack under control and the rear tyres, and then we go again.
Yeah, I'm trying, but he keeps making mistakes.
With Alex Albon just behind George Russell. Kevin Magnussen is going into the pits. Norris has the two Haas boys behind him, and he is told that they should put him under pressure soon. He lies ninth at the moment, while his teammates could help him out if he in turn can chase down the Haas boys and put them on the defensive. Further forward, Leclerc has a small lock-up, and that will cost him time. As a result, Sainz has closed the gap to 2.1, and Perez is trying to get into DRS range of the Spaniard too. So Magnussen has pitted, swapping to the hard compound. Not the best stop, and he comes back out in P18. Verstappen is asking for updates on his rubber. The Dutchman is told his tyres look okay at the moment. He leads by 2.6 seconds. There's Yuki Tsunoda on the radio.
Like, what's happening? It's so slow. Sliding like hell.
Keep focus. Engine braking 10. Engine braking 10.
And he is not happy, to say the least. The first pit stop comes from Yuki Tsunoda, swapping from medium to hard on lap 12, closely followed by Kevin Magnussen, who does the same. So Verstappen has the fastest lap at the moment. So it's Verstappen, Leclerc and Sainz in the podium places at the moment. Tsunoda's medium rubber lost life quickly in the end. Which could be worth watching to see if anyone else falls off the cliff when it comes to these Pirelli tyres. Russell has picked off Ricciardo for P11. His hard tyres are coming into their own now. Here is George Russell on the radio.
So you can push this tyres as hard as you like now. Temperatures are under control. Gap ahead 3.2 to Schumacher.
So he wasn't pushing fully. It sounds like George Russell. That is why he's down in P10. A double point finish at the moment for Mercedes. As Verstappen sets another fastest lap, Lance Stroll gets past Nicholas Latifi. Up front, the medium rubber is working well for Verstappen as he leads by 2.8 now. Fresh air is working wonders too, and he looks to be in tyre management mode. Behind Schumacher pits and returns to the track behind his teammate, as you were for the Haas drivers. Alonso is in the pits. 5.7 for Alonso. Not a good stop. Sebastian Vettel trying to attack Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll looking for a move on Latifi. Side by side, wheel to wheel. He can't quite get past Lance Stroll, and he's still down the inside, and it's a great move. A lovely move by Lance Stroll. George jumps on Daniel Ricciardo's McLaren and snatches P11. Now we're moving. Keep this up, George. Norris, the car ahead. And also, Vettel is the only driver with DRS at the moment as he chases down Latifi for P15. The Aston Martin cars both started in the pit lane due to a fuel temperature issue and are in race recovery mode. Alonso has gone for an undercut attempt on Gasly, but he has a very slow pit stop, and that won't help him one bit. He comes out side by side with Vettel. It's a four-car battle at the moment between the two Aston Martins, Alonso and Latifi, side by side. Somehow everyone emerges unscathed from a few frantic corners. Alonso is in front of Stroll and Vettel, and Latifi drops back behind. Albon has pitted. Here is Magnussen on the radio.
Kev, we need to get past these guys.
So, Kevin Magnussen is down in P15 at the moment with a Haas P15 and P16. So, Verstappen, Leclerc and Sainz still the podium places at the moment. So no one in the current top 10 has pitted. Verstappen still leads from Leclerc and Sainz as Perez finally creeps back into DRS range. The Spaniard does for a well clear of Bottas in fifth, and Hamilton is a few seconds behind his former teammate. Those six have a comfortable gap in terms to Norris, who will soon have Russell for company. The Mercedes man is finally started to get those hard tyres to sing out there, having dropped to P15 at the start. Here's Alex Albon on the radio.
These tyres are worse.
So Alex Albon isn't happy with the tyres at the moment. Lando Norris into the pits. Vettel is ahead of Norris. Magnussen on the inside of Norris now. Magnussen has DRS on Sebastian Vettel. Norris has come into the pits from 7th, a slightly slow stop for the hard compound tyre for the youngster as he comes back side by side with Stroll, who squeezes ahead. That leaves Norris prey to Vettel, who also passes. Disaster for McLaren, who will have wanted to clear that lot. Perez claims he's losing power. And there's a yellow flag in sector 3. And we're back to green. Tsunoda was not happy, was he, Chelsea fan? Perez is losing power. He's dropped way back suddenly from within DRS range of Sainz. He's now 6.9 behind. He says, "How can you say this is good?" He asks frantically as he continues to fall backwards. Lando Norris went very deep there in sector 3. Perez continues to explain to his engineer that he's losing 3 seconds on the straight, but they can't see much on the telemetry, or certainly nothing they want to tell the Mexican. Here is Hamilton on the radio.
Valtteri was a 34.3 last lap. And if you can update us on your tyre switch again.
I can't match that time, Mick.
And he's saying he can't match Bottas's time. Here's a replay of Magnussen. Switches to the outside, trying to go the long way round past Lance Stroll. And then he has the inside line, but he runs out of road. Keep going. We're doing all we can. Power unit is looking good from our side now, Perez is told, as he's back up to speed. But he's lost about 6.5 seconds thanks to that issue. And he's now well out of undercut range of Sainz. Magnussen gaining on Vettel. Magnussen has a look of Vettel, but runs out of space to make the move stick. Those two are fighting for P13 with the German not having pitted yet after starting on the hard compound. So Verstappen leads and shows no signs of stopping just yet. He has 4.3 seconds worth of breathing room to chasing Leclerc, who seems to be managing his tyres. Sainz is a further 4 seconds back, and Perez is yet to start eating into his deficit. To the Spaniard is Magnussen on the radio.
So now we are racing Russell.
Hamilton going into the pit.
His last lap, 34.7. So we need to get by Vettel and Stroll.
Hamilton into the pits. We'll just repeat what Magnussen said.
So now we are racing Russell. He's a P7. His last lap, 34.7. So we need to get by Vettel and Stroll.
They need to get by Vettel and Stroll. Hamilton in the pits as he exits the pits in P7 with Daniel Ricciardo behind in 8th. Two fastest sectors for Verstappen. His tyres are still holding on there. Hamilton has come into the pits from P6 and it's a tidy 2.7 second stop. Hard tyres for him and he returns just ahead of Ricciardo in 7th. And Calvin Harris is in the Aston Martin garage. Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:33.1. Hamilton isn't too far behind his teammate, running different strategies today based on the pace of Russell. The hard tyres take a while to warm up, but once they do, they look an okay compound out there. The track temperature is still in excess of 40 degrees at the moment. Here is Leclerc on the radio.
And try to turn in later, turn 17.
Charles Leclerc into the pits. Will it be a good start? .3 for Leclerc. And Leclerc is now ahead of Bottas. The car is so difficult to drive, says Leclerc, as he looks to be pitting here. Hard compound tyres go on for the Monaco driver. It's a 3.2 stop as he returns just ahead of Bottas. positions are somewhat crystallised. Valtteri Bottas is 8 seconds behind Perez and following Hamilton's stop, 19 seconds ahead of Russell. Latifi and Tsunoda are having a bit of a battle here. Here's Mick Schumacher on the radio.
So Kevin's sort of stuck in that DRS train behind 2 Astons. How do you feel about your pace? Are you able to close up, or are you just managing a gap?
Yeah, I'm just managing my gap and managing the tyres.
Understood. That's clear.
So Schumacher managing the gap at the moment. So in the battle for 12th is Stroll, Vettel and Magnussen. At the moment, there's 6 tenths between Stroll and Vettel and 7 tenths between Vettel and Magnussen. No reaction from Red Bull. Verstappen is extending his opening stint on the medium tyre. Sainz is now second and Perez third. Healthy gaps between the top 4 as it stands, with Bottas just behind Leclerc in 5th. And Red Bull are about to pit with Max Verstappen onto the hard tyres. Will it be a good start for Red Bull? It's a solid start. 2.4. And 18 seconds he was in the pit lane. And he remains ahead of Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz in first at the moment. Valtteri Bottas into the pits. 7 seconds between Sainz and Verstappen. So 30 laps of the race to go. So here comes the race leader into the pits. Hard tyres for Verstappen, a speedy 2.4 stop, and he becomes fractions ahead of his teammate in second. Bottas also pits. Bottas also pitted from P5, and Leclerc on the radio here.
And Verstappen just pitted now. Target lap time 33.2.
And Sainz is the new race leader, ahead of the Red Bull pair, with Leclerc rapidly closing in 4th. And next time around, it looks like Sainz will be pitting. Sergio Perez on the exit of the pits. Sainz is also pitting now as well. And it was not a good stop for Ferrari. So Verstappen is back into the lead. Leclerc is second with Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez in third and fourth. Sainz and Perez both pit on the same lap. Okay then, all over to the pit crews, and that wasn't ideal by Ferrari. He was stationary for 5.4 compared to Perez is 3.1. That has allowed the Mexican to close right up here, and those two come out in third and fourth. Here is Max Verstappen on the radio.
Okay, so info, the last lap, Leclerc was a 33.3. His middle sector was still the same as yours, so bring these in gently as you did in the first stint, and we should be fine.
Leclerc with a 32.9 for the fastest lap. Next stop from Red Bull for Verstappen rejoins on the hard tyre, 7 seconds ahead of Leclerc. Pit lane time loss here is less than 22 seconds. Hamilton says the tyres are overheating. How is that shaken out? Verstappen is back in the lead with a 7.4 second gap to Leclerc in second. Sainz is a further 10 seconds adrift of his teammate, and Perez has 4.9 seconds now to make up to challenge for the podium. As Verstappen gets the fastest lap, a 32.7. Russell yet to pit is fifth ahead of Bottas and Hamilton, who held station through the pit stop period. Ricciardo is the only medium shod runner yet to pit. Hamilton locked up there. Fastest sectors being exchanged by the first two, as Christian Horner admits that they are covering. They are covering off safety cars and managing an issue with Perez's car, which was the sensor issue that derailed him earlier. Here's Ricciardo on the team radio.
Push now, Daniel, push. We want to stay ahead of Ocon 1.3.
So they want to stay ahead of Ocon. Bottas stop moves George up into P5 with Lewis in P7. Russell 2.8, Bottas 2.8 as well. Chelsea fan thinks Max Verstappen will win the race. And Vettel is past Magnussen. There is a DRS train further back, led by Alonso. He has Stroll, Magnussen, Vettel, Schumacher, and Norris trailing in his wake. Norris has been really hampered by that lengthy pit stop, which threw him out into the traffic he was desperately trying to avoid. Here is Magnussen on the team radio.
Okay, Kev, let's get it back. So car behind is Mick with DRS.
Ricciardo has finally pitted for the hard compound. He's down in P17. So the battle for 12, Magnussen, Schumacher and Vettel. Schumacher looking for the move on Magnussen. He remains ahead. Schumacher looking for the move on Magnussen. He can't make it stick. That DRS train is turning into a monster scrap. Vettel picks off Magnussen. Then next time around, both Magnussen and Schumacher get back past the Aston Martin. They're squabbling over P12 at the moment. Verstappen fastest lap at 1:32.7. So the pit window is open for the two-stop strategy onto the hards from lap 35 onto 43. It's a new fastest lap for the race leader as he extends his lead over Leclerc, which is a comfortable 2.7. Extending his lead over Leclerc, which is a comfortable 7.7 as it stands. This one looks to be heading Red Bull's way, barring any safety car or weather changes. Leclerc gets the fastest lap, 1:32.3. And there's Guan Yu Zhou. He's disappointed, which you must expect, really. Leclerc has responded, setting a new fastest lap of his own as he battles back, having led off the line. This is turning into a difficult afternoon for Leclerc, who just doesn't have the answers. He takes 3/10 out of Verstappen's lead, but that's about as good as it gets at the moment. Alonso has managed to break free of the DRS train now as he pulls out a 1.4 second gap to Stroll behind. Magnussen and Schumacher seem to have been told to stop squabbling over position and to set about chasing down Stroll ahead, who has still yet to pit. But in a case of commentator's curse, Magnussen runs wide and Schumacher whizzes through the inside at turn 17. The German is up to P12. Here's Lance Stroll on the radio.
That's Gasly ahead of Alonso in free air, and you're quicker than him.
And Williams have tweeted, Alex is able to fend off Ricciardo from his pit exit and finds himself P16. Lewis Hamilton is chasing Valtteri Bottas. He'll be in striking distance in 4 laps. Vettel has run wide. His tyres seem to be struggling now. He's still on his original hard rubber. That lock-up won't have anything for tyre performance either. And he's told that rain might be coming in 8 minutes. Can his tyres hold on till then? Russell is still to pit, and he's going to come out on fresh medium tyres late on, which is going to be fun to watch. He remains 5th at the moment, but Bottas and Hamilton are closing up behind. He says, why don't we keep going and see if there's a VFC or something? He sensibly asks Mercedes. Verstappen with the fastest lap, a 1:32.3. Russell has a pit worth of time over Gasly in P9, with Ocon in P8 also yet to stop. He'd only drop to 7th if he stopped now. so might as well take a risk and see if anything is likely to occur. After all the red flags of practice, everyone has very much kept their noses clean in the race. Ricciardo has said on the radio,
Last lap faster than all cars outside the top 7.
and Tsunoda has blue flags. Gasly gets past Alonso as Alonso locks up, and down the inside goes Lance Stroll. He's up to P10. Horner is caught looking up at the sky. Storms bubble up very quickly in Florida, and when they hit, they are short and sharp with often torrential rain. But at the moment, while it is overcast, there's no obvious black clouds anywhere around. Famous last words. Alonso claims Gasly closed the door at the last minute. Turn 1 incident involving Gasly and Alonso noted by the stewards. Charles Leclerc, the fastest lap, 1:32 flat. George Russell happy with his starting set of hard tyres, and it feels like he wanted to go on for a while in case of safety cars that could give him a very cheap and advantageous pit stop. Oh my God, there's a big crash. Lando Norris. Alonso is 9th. Gasly is in P11. It's a VSC. Lando Norris is out. As Russell takes his pit stop under VSC. Alonso is 9th. Gasly is in P11 with Stroll managing to get past the stricken Alfa Tauri. Lando Norris is out of the car. Norris has crashed. The VSC is called. Norris is on the small straight between turn 8 and 9 with a rear puncture, and plenty of debris is strewn across the track. Gasly struggling. Oh. It's a full safety car. There was contact between Norris and Gasly. I'll be back in a minute. Five-second penalty for Alonso, causing a collision. We've got a few to get through here. So this has played beautifully into the hands of the hard-shod runners who had yet to pit, as they have all picked up a cheap pit stop here. Replays show that Gasly was struggling still, running wide and letting a couple of cars through. He returns to the track and doesn't see Norris on his outside. The two making contact, which punctured Norris's tyre and caused him to spin out into the barriers. The full safety car was then deployed. Here's Gasly on the radio.
We are happy with the car. Nothing we can see on data. Keep us posted. Happy with the car.
The VSC isn't enough. The full safety car's been called, which means plenty of others are pitting now as well. We'll see how this one shakes out momentarily. Here's Hamilton on the radio.
So car is stopped on the left-hand side, but debris everywhere.
So Verstappen leads the race as Alonso is given a 5-second penalty. 5-second time penalty for causing the original incident with Gasly. Verstappen remains on his hard tyres, and so do the two Ferrari boys behind. Perez is fourth. He's on fresh medium tyres. He's the furthest forward on fresh tyres and might well fancy this one up. This one with 3 ahead on old rubber, which may well be tricky to warm up. Bottas and Hamilton in 5th and 6th have not been in. Russell in 7th is on fresh mediums and might fancy his chances too. Hamilton says he'll lose out to his teammate at the start. All for sure is the troll message back, which is not what he will have wanted to hear. Pirelli have tweeted that, well, that has shaken up things a bit. George Russell pits under the VSC, with others pitting under the full safety car. Esteban Ocon takes the soft tyre, while Checo makes a second stop for the medium. This is going to be an interesting finale. So DNFs, Guan Yu Zhou in the Alfa Romeo and Lando Norris in the McLaren. And penalties. Fernando Alonso has a 5-second penalty. How does the rest of the top 10 look? Alonso and Schumacher in 8th and 9th are on their way. Are on their very used hard tyres. Ocon in P10 has profited from this one hugely. What on earth? This one hugely, and he's on brand new softs. Albon is up to P11, but he's on old hard tyres. So the pack at the moment, Verstappen is in the lead with Leclerc second. He has the fastest lap. Perez, Sainz in 3rd, Perez 4th. And then it's Bottas, Hamilton, Russell, Alonso, Schumacher. Alonso with a 5-second penalty. Schumacher, Ocon, Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Vettel, Ricciardo, Gasly, Latifi, and Tsunoda. So there is 13 laps to go. Can lap cars not unlap themselves? So the lap cars of Gasly, Latifi and Tsunoda can now overtake the safety car. Christian Horner confirms that the team got lucky. Verstappen was past the pit lane entry when the full safety car was called, but so were the Ferrari pair, so he didn't lose out there. That's why Perez was able to pit and the front three wasn't, although his boss reminds us that the Mexican is managing an issue. He's managing an issue and he's down on power. The lap cars can now overtake, so the resumption shouldn't be too far away. Here, what a restart this should be. 3 different tyre compounds. Some drivers yet to struggle with tyre warm-up. Others with a point to prove. Here's Daniel Ricciardo on the team radio.
And for this number of laps, even on soft, Hiroshi is not concerned about tyre wear. I think you can push.
Safety car is in this lap. Ready. We're ready and raring. Gasly thinks the rear right is broken. Pierre Gasly pits. Is that to retire from the race? The Dutchman becomes the default safety car. He backs everyone up. And we're back to green. Can Perez get past Sainz down into turn one? Not quite. And there's a yellow flag in sector one. We're back to green straight away. So the Dutchman becomes the default safety car. He backs everyone up as the safety car peels off track. Gasly has just pitted, possibly to retire. Here is Magnussen on the radio.
At the line, there will be 11 laps remaining, so no management required. We can push every lap.
Verstappen leaps away and manages to get a clear go into turn one, with Leclerc just behind. Sainz has all sorts of problems with Perez very racy behind, but the Mexican can't barge through in the first few corners. Gasly has indeed retired after 2 lots of contact. The yellows were out briefly. Looks like Magnussen and Stroll tangled fighting for P14. Can Leclerc get past Sainz? Can Leclerc get past Verstappen, sorry? Turn to incident between Magnussen and Stroll under investigation. No DRS yet, and perhaps Perez will wait for that, which should be available next time around. Russell hasn't made a move on his teammate yet, and Hamilton himself is all over the back of Bottas. That one feels more personal than it more likely is. DRS is enabled. DRS is active for Sergio Perez. Next time around, Sainz runs slightly wide but slams the door on a feisty Perez behind. DRS is now enabled too, and Leclerc is still just about within a second of Verstappen. Here is Sebastian Vettel on the team radio.
Albon 0.6, cutting the chicane there.
They claim the battle for fifth, Bottas, Russell and Hamilton, and Hamilton is past George Russell. Bottas has gone wide. He's down to P7. Down the back straight, Perez and Sainz so close. Leclerc almost got past then. Bottas run wide and both Mercedes get past. Leclerc has just set a new fastest lap as he tries to chase Verstappen for the lead, and Perez is still all over the back of Sainz, where he would be, bar that sensor issue that cost him lap time. Take care, Chelsea fan. George Russell past Hamilton. Russell has picked off Hamilton, but his teammate is having none of that and tries to come back at him. Nothing doing, though. Russell remains ahead in fifth. Maybe his record of finishing in the top five will hold somewhat incredibly. Turn to incident between Magnussen and Stroll. No further action by the stewards. Replay showed that Russell passed Hamilton off the track and sort of tried to yield the position, but then immediately retook it. The stewards might not look like that, but you can't imagine Mercedes. But you can't imagine Mercedes will lodge an appeal. Perez nearly gets past Sainz, but outbrakes himself. Sainz has dropped well back from his teammate and he's in full defensive mode, trying to hold Perez at bay. Here is Nicholas Latifi on the radio.
Can you check that was okay? I'm not sure if I hit the curve, but there was a weird spike.
Understood, we'll check. Pressure's all good.
Perez locked up into turn 1. Perez is all over the back of Sainz down the pit straight. He gets past into turn 1 but outbrakes himself. And Sainz switches back to the inside to sneak back past, as you were then. Up front, Leclerc likewise is all over the back of the race leader. As it is Red Bull versus Ferrari all over again. And you can see both teams' reactions there. Hamilton isn't happy with the strategy. Well, the cars can certainly follow closer for longer this year. Verstappen is still holding Leclerc at bay. Sainz likewise is somehow keeping Perez behind. Strategy has not been kind to me, says a despondent Hamilton in 6th. Luck hasn't been on his side so far, but he's not the only one. Here is Lance Stroll on the team radio.
Yeah, you got a black and white flag, no more. Yeah, you got a black and white flag, no more.
How the f*** did I weave the storm behind me?
There's a yellow flag in sector 1. We go back to green. As Stroll gets a black and white flag. There was a battle between Ocon, Schumacher and Vettel. Oh! Schumacher has lost part of his front wing. And that has ended his chance of any point. No change miraculously in the front four, and Verstappen has briefly pulled out just over a second worth of lead thanks to two fastest sectors behind Russell, has let Hamilton back past. That looks like a Mercedes order due to Russell not ceding the position earlier on. Vettel has had a spin down at turn 1. Is Alonso on the radio?
It's 0.8 mil.
Yeah, I see, mate.
Vettel's spin was caused by Schumacher hitting his side pod. That might end their bromance pretty swiftly. George is instructed to allow Lewis through as his overtake was completed off track. They completed the swap. So Sebastian Vettel has now DNF'd as well. Magnussen and Ricciardo are under investigation now. Verstappen looks to have pulled a decisive gap now, 1.5 seconds ahead of Leclerc in the fight for the win. Perez likewise has dropped back in the fight for the final podium place. Schumacher and Vettel's tangle has promoted Albon to P10. The stewards are going to look at the Vettel-Schumacher moment, and the Aston Martin man is in the pits and out of the race. Well, it was a slow burner, but this race has absolutely come alive. Russell has made it back past Hamilton for 5th. Bottas is comfortably in 7th. And Alonso, Ocon and Albon round out the points. Also worth considering is Alonso is carrying a 5-second penalty out there. And the Aston Martin admin is not happy. Here's Lance Stroll on the radio.
He's weaving Magnussen.
He claims Magnussen is weaving. It's the final lap of the race. Verstappen will get his 3rd victory of the season. Here comes Verstappen. He's had to work hard. He's had to work hard for this one. It looks like his trend of winning every race he's finished is set to continue in Miami. Verstappen wins the Miami Grand Prix. Leclerc gets 2nd. And Carlos Sainz will finish in 3rd. Perez is in 4th. The gaps have all stabilised out there as everyone just wants to bring their car home now. 25 points for Verstappen. 26, sorry. With Russell 5th, Hamilton 6th, Bottas 7th. Alonso has dropped to 9th with his 5-second penalty. Ocon 8th, Alonso 9th. Albon has got another point for Williams in 10th. Ricciardo 11th, Stroll 12th. Tsunoda 13th, Latifi in 14th. Magnussen and Schumacher yet to cross the line. Well, he's had to work hard in the end, but it's a brilliant victory for the Dutchman. From third on the grid, he beats championship rival Leclerc, with Sainz holding on to third under huge pressure from Perez behind. So that's it. It finishes in Miami. Verstappen wins the race. We'll look at the live leaderboard then. Verstappen wins with Leclerc in second, Sainz third, Perez fourth, Russell and Hamilton P5, 6, Bottas in seventh, Ocon in eighth, Alonso 9th, Albon 10th, Ricciardo 11th, Stroll in 12th, Tsunoda 13th, Latifi 14th, Magnussen, Schumacher in 15th, Magnussen 16th. With Vettel, Gasly, Norris and Guan Yu Zhou all DNFing. So that's it for the Miami Grand Prix. We will wrap it up there. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter as well at MCFC Hibs. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex, the F1 channel. And we will speak to you all soon. Everybody take care and goodbye for now.